Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Tikomo with Selima Henok. This is a platform where we basically just get to talk. We talk about our culture and tradition. We also talk about the arts and entertainment industry where my heart lies, and the industry that I feel like is undermined in the country. We're also just going to talk about societal matters that matters to society, okay? So we are going to learn from each other. We are going to explore, and these episodes will basically just be about exploring and learning from each other. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to have started this YouTube channel where we are going to explore and learn visually, not just by talking. Why Tikam? Let me take that again. Why Tikam? Okay, Tikam is a Damara Nama word or Nama Damara word that basically means sit and discuss. Okay, so we just sit and discuss, talk about arts and entertainment industry or the creative industry in general. We talk about our culture and traditions. We need to document, guys. We need to document our traditions and cultural items so that the future generation will have something to go back to look at and see how some of these things are made. Where is my menace? My name is Selima Henok. I'm a reporter at the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC, and also a filmmaker. I've documented and also filmed a couple of films that I'll probably one day be able to explore and show you what I have done in the film industry. I've been in the industry for over a decade, and I really like to promote the film industry in the country. I am excited to be starting these episodes because we'll be sharing the topics that I just mentioned. We'll be exploring them and also just really learning from each other in the meantime. And this is just not going to be about talking. We are going to visualize everything that we are going to talk about, okay? Less of my face and more of the visuals of what we are discussing in that particular topic. Someone once said, or I don't know, did I make this up or did I hear it somewhere? If you do not know your roots and your culture, then you are lost. Hey, you are definitely lost. And I think in Namibia we have adopted so much of the Western culture that we forget about our own ways of living, and we make fun of people that break or that don't pronounce, that vambolized the way of speaking in English, or maybe damarize, if there's such a word. Certain words, instead of saying like my Damara people will say Junam instead of saying Unam. Ovambo people will mix up the R and the L because of the way you grew up speaking your mother tongue, and we laugh at them, we make fun of them. Also, sometimes in Oshivambo culture there is a word that they call you a gweri. If you're too much into cultural stuff, or you grew up, or you're not modernized enough for them, then they call you a gweri, and which for me is just not okay, because we need to start to appreciate our own way of doing things. We also need to really take pride in our own culture and tradition, because if you do not do that, if we do not do that and we take pride in other people's traditions and way of living and doing things, we forget about our own things. Who's going to tell about us? Or who's going to tell about us? So our culture, our traditions are going to die in the future, and there is nobody to talk about it or somebody to take it up, because we have adopted to other people's ways of living, and then in that we are lost, guys. We will be definitely lost if we do not take pride in our own cultures and traditions. And in that, we're also going to talk about the entertainment and arts industry, because in everything I do, I make it a point to make sure that I promote the arts and entertainment industry, which I believe has so much potential in terms of job creation, in terms of skill development. I don't want to bore you. It's a fast life. We all have things to do, and we don't really have time to just spend watching one person, unless you like me and you want to see my lips, you want to see my eyes, my nose. Just kidding. So in this episode, I just want to share some snapshots of me going to the north last year. In the coming episodes that are going to come up, I'm going to explore the Ovambo cultural few items of the Ovambo cultural items. Yes, it's just not gonna be about the Ovambo. It's also going to be the Damara and my other cultures in Namibia as well. So we're just gonna document as much as we can and also try to share as much as I can. All right, and of course, feel free, you are welcome to correct me where you feel like I haven't said something right, because this is a platform where we get to learn from each other. Okay, right? So yes, going to the north, like I said, this first episode I'm just showing you snapshots of my visit to the north. So guys, I usually go to the north, but this time around I got to explore. Was really of great help in terms of really making these items and how they are made, and also just showing me and telling me about these cultural things that I think we are starting to forget, and also just how certain things are made. So I don't want to mention names. I want you to be surprised every episode that I'll be sharing and having those different items and just learning on how they are made, or also just certain cultural things that I think will be of interest and that people need to know about. All right, yes. So coming back to the first episode and what we are sharing in this episode. So for the first time I got to drove myself to the north. I drove myself. I wasn't driven. So I drove with my two nieces, Voye and Tenya. I call them my handbags because they are always with me, especially when I have events. They are of great help. They help me with so much in terms of really just making sure that things happen, and they've really been of a great help. I appreciate them so much. So we drove to the north. They made the journey very fun. So it was more than 700 kilometers that we drove from Windhoek to Oshikango, because I had to drop one of my nieces in Oshikango because she needed to proceed to another village, and with my other niece Diana Boye, we had to go to Kukwanyama where my parents we had to go to Onekwaya West Ongonga village where my parents are staying. My mom waited for us in Oshikango as well, because if I had to drive to the village, guys, I'll get lost because there's just too many tents in terms of going to our village. We drove now to the village after we found my mom in Oshikango. Coming to the village, I like it because it's kind of like it gives you that freshness, and you get to refresh, and it's just that nice feeling of being in the village, because really it's just another environment, guys. You know, Windhoek is it's a busy environment. Yeah, it was just fun because I ate a lot of chicken. I got to cook on the fire. Yes, I grew up cooking on the fire. We grew up in Rehoboth. So my father used to work for Namib, and that's how we ended up being born in Rehoboth and grew up there. But you know, we used to cook. Stayed in Block E, Blakisdorp, and we used to cook on the fire. So it's not something that is a big deal, but I haven't cooked on the fire for a longest time now anyways. So we're given this chicken, so this is my piece. I don't need a lot of meat, guys. Where is my piece on? Yeah, this one. And we went then to Okahawa now. And the initial plan of going to Okahawa was to go see my grandmother, who's she's around 110 or more than 110 years. I need to make sure, but I know she's more than 100. She's 100 plus, and I love that granny. You can see that I got my nose from my father. If you can see closely, my granny has also that type of nose that is sharp. So I get it from my father's side. My favorite part of being in Okahawa was seeing my granny. Seeing my granny, guys. Ventuka. Opotuli. Opia kukutalela po. And you have to speak loud, and she was so happy to see me. Like, you came all the way from Windhoek, and you have to speak loud for her to hear, hey. And at least sometimes she doesn't hear at all, but at least that day when we were there, she could at least hear. So I was so excited to see her. I brought her some little stuff, some eating stuff, and she blessed me, guys. That is the most wonderful thing that I wanted. The blessings that my grandma just put on my head, that is like showers of blessings. I felt like God was the one touching me, you know. Those blessings that I get from my granny, guys, are the one. And my granny is such a spiritual person, hey. So after being in the north for some time, it was, you know, I've been eating pap every day, because that is like the only thing that I eat most of the time. So I was so tired of eating pap, so I decided to go do some shopping. And I wanted to cook something different for that specific day. And of course, I wanted to make the famous Ovamboland salad. Guess what it is? The potato salad, hey? So that's like the famous Ovamboland salad. So if you are at an event and you are making salad where there is no potato salad, then you haven't made salad for the Ovamboland speaking people, most of the Ovamboland speaking people. So that's like the famous Ovamboland salad, the potato salad. Oslai, they call it oslai. So you need to make a potato salad for the Ovamboland people, then they feel like they've eaten salad. Okay, so yes, it was a nice process, and most of the people finished all of them finished their plates, if I should put it that way. And most importantly, they just cut out the salad. As you can see, the plates were yakonwa. You know, they made sure that they ate everything from the plates. Okay, so it was just something different that we had for the night. For me, like I said, it was just an exploring thing for me when I went to the north this time. So every little thing, maybe because I went with a camera, I felt like I needed to record every little thing, document every little thing. So I was just recording all over, like my vampo in me is coming out, right, left, and center. I was just recording. I remember even towards the end, my mom was just like, oh, ndalulirwa neva kwetu kumafani maselima keshimota shifani kweketa shifani
nani nyokweka mamokanya tarifi makengo dito
no shiramba
Tiri vale makulisha kwa mimi. Makano makashi. Ndio kata kanga peka mama makanya ne atuli.
So it was a pleasure being in your company. Looking forward to the next episode where we are going to explore a specific Ovamboland item, all right? So we are going to explore other cultures as well, but for now we started with the Ovamboland one because that's the one that I got to document first. So please don't forget to subscribe so that you'll be notified of the episodes that I will be loading, so that you will not be left behind. It will be weekly uploads and no specific day, so that's why you need to subscribe so that you will be notified, and also like, all right? Like and share, and if a topic interests you, no pressure, you don't need to share if you don't feel like it, but if you feel like it interests you and other people can learn one or two things from it, you can share it. Really appreciate that. Also follow me on my social media platforms, Selima Henok, not Salma Selima. My father said Selima, so it's on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook, and it's just Selima Henok, at Selima Henok. You can search for Selima Henok and I'll follow you back.
Eh. Ai, ai,